Hi, welcome. I'm Jessie Welters from Charles Rutenberg, and today I have Delynn Gaston from the mortgage firm joining us. Yay!
Yay!
So Delyn's like a key person in my business. She is the person who gets you the money to purchase the home. So we were just talking about how the industry's changed, pretty much this year, how there's limited inventory. But when you do get that actual contract, what are the stages and stuff. And we even talked before, I think, about like the bidding wars and how to structure that bid and all,
Yes.
So
pretty much a crazy market. Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah. Welcome.
So it's pretty much a crazy market right now, as you know, Jess. It's just there's craziness out there that's going on. A lot of times people being the sellers are only accepting conventional contracts. So if you are a consumer and you currently have an FHA pre-approval letter, you might want to talk to your lender and see if you can switch it to conventional. Don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of FHA as well.
Yeah, you are number one fan. Poor Delynn, when I get, please just get them conventional. Yeah, get them pre-qualified quick.
I know FHA has such a bad reputation, and it shouldn't. It shouldn't.
Yeah.
It is such. It was made back in the 30s, I think. It's a great loan for people, and it's a very good loan, government backed and insured. So it's great for the lenders and great for the buyers. It doesn't mean, and I know that people have a stigma that it means, oh, they're going to tear the house apart or something, because way back when, believe it or not, way back when I started, 40 years ago or more.
Get your driver's license, please.
40 years ago or more, the FHA did used to come in and really kind of rip the house apart a little bit.
They were more stringent.
They were definitely stricter. And then they used to have what's called a VC list, which was a list of conditions that had to be done prior to the closing of the house. Now, they've changed that a lot. Now, there's definitely some things that they have not taken off that list. If you do happen to have one, peeling paint. If there's any kind of peeling paint. And just keep in mind, it's all safety for the most part. It's safety.
That's what I say. What used to be, and I don't know if it still is, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the FHA, basically, they'd have to repair it. They do the appraisal and they'd say if there was a hole, say in the carpet, and they would call it like a trip hazard.
Right.
That was one of them. And then dry rotted wood outside.
Dry rotted wood outside, right?
Yeah.
They want to make sure that the house is sturdy. And that's the thing with FHA. They said, okay, well, we want to make sure. We're going to insure this. We're going to back you. We want to make sure that this is going to.
Right. So, and then obviously if you have cash, you don't have to worry about any of that. But if you conventional loan, conventional appraiser, they just walk in and it's easier.
Exactly. The thing is, although, a lot of times, especially after the crash of 2008, everybody got strict. Everybody got strict. A lot of the lenders got strict. So conventional, they're still going to make mention of it too. There's a big hole in the carpet. This could be a tripping hazard or whatever.
Exactly,
So they're definitely going to still mention it. And it could or could not come up in underwriting where the underwriter says, okay, well, from a safety issue, we need this fixed. We need this repaired. So just some things to keep in mind.
Right. So that's when we're talking about the bidding process as a listing agent. Obviously cash, you're going to, get the bid. If you have the highest bid or you're close to the highest bid, cash, you're going to come in number one. Number two right now is conventional mortgages. If you have an FHA approval, Delynn could possibly switch over to conventional. Yeah. And the conventional loans, I don't know why, like we were just talking about that, why they're second place and why FHA is not second place too. But a lot of agents being in the business so long, but we don't need to give the timeline. Being in the business so long that you see less people, it fall out. The actual loans, like you're there with your purchaser, and a lot of times, they not to be mean to my public, but like they always say buyers are liars. So sometimes I don't know if they're liars, but they forget like, oh, I forgot about whatever this debt is. You know what I mean? And then we're FHA and then we go through and then it falls out, oh, they didn't get approved. So I think.
And that absolutely, I am absolutely 100% in agreement with you. That does happen. Not that buyers are liars.
Disclaimer.
But things come up, and it's sad because sometimes people try and hide stuff from us. And I say, don't tell me everything. Let me decide how much or how to present this issue to the underwriter.
Right.
They're going to find it.
Yeah.
They're absolutely going to find it. So you have to, you just be real honest with your loan officer up front, and tell them everything. Even if they're not, I got to say this, even if they're not asking the question,
Yeah.
tell them anyway.
Yeah.
Don't think that they're,
They
because
didn't ask. Yeah. So
just
that's-
because they didn't ask doesn't mean their underwriter's not going to find it, because maybe the loan officer just hasn't been doing it all that long, hasn't had this kind of experience yet, hasn't,
Right.
had this come up before, so he doesn't know to ask that question. So tell them everything anyway, so that, because trust me, the underwriters will find it.
Right.
That's their
And-
job.
And another thing I was, before we were talking too, a lot of times when I have a person who's not sure, can I even get a loan? Do I even have enough money? And that's where you come in for me. I just say, Dylan will call you, or you can call Dylan, and she can go over a plan, at least for the future.
Right.
So, if you don't think you can buy a house here in the next a couple months because it's mad out there trying to get a home, you can at least have that plan for even next year or the year after. I mean, we've been in business so long that, we're still going to be here in like 2 years, 3 years. So if we get you on a plan and, in a way,
Right.
and then you get the little things worked out, critiqued,
and sometimes it's only like 3 months.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
and 3 months goes by like this.
Yeah, it
I
does,
can
yeah.
get people lined up correctly.
Right.
Regardless of what the reason might be, most of the time we can get them lined up correctly inside of like 3 or 4 months, and then they can be buying a house.
Right. Yeah, and when we were talking to the nightmare things on when you are buying a house is, if you do lose your job, you have to tell your lender, and like during the process,
Yes, please tell your lender
Yeah.
if you lose your
that's
job.
how, so I don't know if she's watching this, but I have a customer, actually you're helping her, and the reason we got under contract was, the previous contract on this home had fallen through. And then, when people see, 60 days on the market right now, they're like, what's wrong with the house? Because houses
Yes.
are
Right, first thing,
3
what's
days.
wrong with the house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 days on the market is a big deal right now. So 60 days is like a big, huge warning. And so the gentleman who was purchasing the home, he lost his job, but he didn't disclose that he lost his job. So he did everything, everything and then they check if you have employment in the beginning, but now because of 2008, they check in the end too. So you can't just get a letter from your aunt, you know what I mean, that says, yeah, he has a job. So yeah, unfortunately he did lose the house and stuff. So then we were right
that's
there.
sad.
Yeah, and it's horrible because he
That's too
spent
bad.
money on, all the home inspections, stuff like that, so. Yeah, so it was disappointing.
So, moral of the story: be honest with your lender.
yeah, again, be honest with your lender.
And don't open up anything new, because you're absolutely correct. Right at the end, although you've been through the underwriting process and you're approved, yay, that does not mean you can go and do what you want.
Yeah.
Do not go taking out a new car loan. Do not go opening up any new credit cards. Do not go quitting your day job.
Yeah. That's
If
that
you
one
do,
where-
talk to people.
Yeah, that's that one where we were talking about last time. I don't know if you remember, but I had big screen TV. They were teeter-tottering, and furniture, and and then if you go buy it, and then we have to return it all, and then we have to wait. You know what I mean? So it ruins
Yes.
everything. Usually, you lose the home that you have. You know what I mean, under contract at that time.
Especially
Because-
right now in this market, right?
Yeah,
There-
yeah.
There are 10 backup offers right
Right.
behind you on these things most
Yeah,
of the time.
it is crazy right now. So yeah, but so when we were talking about the process, obviously I'm going, say when I have a buyer, I go out and I, put in an offer, and I want it to look the strongest offer. And the way I usually give advice is to, if you can get that conventional loan, that's what's actually getting the actual bids right now. And then going higher than the asking price if you can. And then as we were talking, you're higher than the asking price. You got your conventional loan, you got your bid, and then we're going forward. And then we're at the points where what comes next. And of course, we
Right.
know that if you put your offer in, you got 3 days to escrow, and you have that closing date. And so you're shooting for that, and you're having your home inspection period, which is 14 days. But if you're trying to get an offer, you're obviously putting like 7 days and getting your home inspector out there as fast as possible and making
Right.
that offer just look so good. You got a conventional loan, you got 7-day home inspection, you got a 30-day close, and it looks so clean. And then, of course, we were talking about the only thing that is now a problem is the appraisal. And what
Right.
are you seeing in the market with your appraisals?
So, the appraisals aren't going up as quickly as the market is going up.
Right.
So we're definitely seeing appraisals come in lower.
Right.
And one of the questions I get right away is, what happens? It's funny because usually it's about a week. Because it's a flurry, right?
Right.
You make this great offer, and people. It's really kind of funny because they'll call me and I'll say, well, when's your closing date? And they'll say, I don't know. Bottom of page 1.
Yeah.
Bottom of page 1.
On
It
the
has
left.
the closing date
On the
on
left
there. I
side.
know. It's funny that they don't know. But
Right next to your initials.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but you have so many days for your escrow deposit. You have so many days to make your formal mortgage application, and then the appraisal gets ordered. And appraisals can take anywhere from 1 week to 2 weeks right now because of the crazy market we're in. It used to be they used to take anywhere from 3
Yeah,
to 5
3 to 5
days,
days,
right?
yeah.
And that was very
Yeah.
normal, and we'd have the appraisal. But because of the crazy market, everybody and their brother, we are probably so understaffed as far
Yeah.
as appraisals go in the state of Florida right now, because Florida is definitely one of the hottest markets right now. So we are very understaffed, but it's not a time to, maybe go get your appraiser license.
Yeah, I know,
It's a
right?
good
True.
idea. Work under someone, because those poor people are working around the
Yeah.
clock. But that being said, so the appraisal could take anywhere from 7 to 14 days that we're not going to know. What if the appraisal comes in low? Well, that's where you have a couple of different choices. The very first thing you do is your realtor will know. We let everybody know right away, here's where the appraisal maybe came in $10,000 low, let's just say. So your realtor, as the buyer, your realtor will let you know.
Right.
And then that realtor, Jesse
Yeah.
or whoever it might be, will then go to the listing agent, the other realtor involved in the transaction, and say, hey guys, we got a little bit of a problem here.
And the dream is that seller goes, oh, it didn't appraise out? Well, then that's no problem. I'll match the appraisal. Let's reduce it and go forward. And that's your dream. That's what
6 months ago,
Yeah.
that's what happened.
That's what we want you sellers to do.
Yes.
So that's our dream. So we call you up and I say, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, it was supposed to be $350, the selling price. It is $350, but unfortunately it appraised at $340. And so that shows you your house value. And then Mr. and Mrs. Smith would say, okay, that's no problem. Just reduce that contract. And we'd all sign an addendum, and then life
Everybody's
goes on.
happy.
But right now, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, when I call them up, they say, well, you know what? There was those other offers that came in. You just call one of them, because I'm not giving up $10,000, because there was 2 other offers that were exactly the same. So call them up and see if they'll do it. Well, you're under contract. Let's see if we can work with this. So my plan 2 is, could you reduce 5,000? Could they come up? Of course, you have to check with your buyer, make sure that they have that cash,
Right.
and make sure they're able to do that, or see if they have that rich aunt in another, in
Right,
Idaho that
who
could
can
send
help
the
them
money
out.
Yeah, and then also don't just have your rich aunt send you 5,000. Then we have to call DeLynn to see
Yes,
how to
you
put
have
that.
to talk to your lender.
Yeah, so we need that letter from your rich aunt stating that you're just giving that as a gift, because it's a loan that's going to change debt ratios. So you want to make sure that is an actual gift. So that's the plan 2, or my second choice, let's meet in the middle. And then the third choice, which right now is very popular for the sellers, they say, you come up, buyer, you overbid, you come up with this 10,000 cash. And that's is that what you're seeing too?
Yes, and that's what I wanted to bring up a point here, because people don't realize this, is they say, okay, that's not a problem because I'm still getting a loan for this. No, you're not.
Yeah, exactly.
Because just so that you know, it goes off of, your loan goes off of, like if you're putting 5% down or 10% down or 20% down, that's called an LTV. What is the loan amount versus the value of the house? The value of the house is determined by the lower of the purchase price or the appraised value. So let's say you were putting 20% down and the appraisal came in $10,000 low. Well, we're going to use that appraised value of $10,000 low. So now you're no longer at 80% of the value. Now you're at like 83%. And again, that means it's going to kick in PMI. You may or may not have heard that term, private mortgage insurance. It's going to change the dynamics of your loan, and it's going to
your payment's going to go up.
Your payment's
Yeah.
going to go up a little bit. Your interest rate might change a little bit, because now it's different.
Yeah.
So things to keep in mind. So what the real estate agents are starting to put on the contracts now is that you realize that you're going to be, you might have to come up with the difference.
Right.
And make sure that when you sign that contract, you have the availability to do that.
Yeah. So as a selling agent, I asked them to go over it with your buyer and write that out up to how much over that appraised value that they'll go. So I had one that said it doesn't matter if it appraises out. So we had an appraisal waiver, and then I had that last one was they'll go 10,000 over the appraised value, but I did still have the buyer's agent call and say, it appraised for 320 and our contract's 355, and I said, oh, okay. So why'd you call me? Because it's in the, you know what I mean? Because we have an appraisal waiver. So, and he's like, well, we're buying the furniture because she gave us a little bit off the furniture. So we got a little bit off the furniture. Everybody was happy. But they, I told him, I said, this is going to be one of the highest ones in the area. So the chances of, my concern is it's not going to appraise, even though I know they really want it. And they beat out the other 8 offers, by this crazy, beautiful offer.
Wow.
But, yeah. So they came up with the extra cash, and then they came up with the extra cash for the furniture too. So it was like the dream for us, because usually, as we know,
That's a dream for you guys. Yeah. And for that seller.
Yeah. Sometimes
They all don't happen that way, but
at Lorraine, that was at Lorraine's house. Remember when we did the open house?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was Lorraine's house. So so we started the pattern for
And
that
they
whole
went to buy
street.
her furniture too.
Yeah.
How cute is
I
that?
know. She was so excited. This seller that I had was just the sweetest lady. They all did reviews on the house when they would go see it, and then they would ask for her to stay in the house as part of the review. Can Lorraine stay? And she said, no, that didn't happen. So I printed out all the feedback request from
Did you?
and took them to her, because she said she wanted to tell her family, so when she moves up north, that if you guys don't want me here, I can always move back. These people said I could live with them, all these people, like 3 of them.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
She's, so that people know, she's an elderly lady, and she was just the sweetest thing. And this
Yeah.
was a huge, massive house that she was the only owner of this
Yeah.
house, the original owner of this house. And this huge, massive house, and Jesse and I are walking around, and I'm like, how does a little old lady keep this house this clean?
Yeah, it's just well, that was the
she's-
house, like
Holy
in the
cow.
you can eat off the floors.
Yes.
Like it was in part of the write up on the MLS.
Not even the garage
Yeah.
didn't even have like one cobweb in the corner.
carpet down the rug in the garage. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like the dream. Yeah, so we'll take
Amazing.
a quick break, and we're going to talk more about appraisals. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Hi, welcome back. I'm Jessie Walters from Charles Rutenberg. I'm here with Dylan Gaston, and we're talking about mortgages and kind of a heads up of what to look for, how to get your bids, and what to do after you get your bid. So welcome back.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Yeah, so she's my right hand, I was going to say man, but my right hand lady on the mortgages. So if I'm getting you pre-qualified and I say I'll have someone call you, Dylan's the person who's going to call and get you qualified or get you that plan for the qualification like we were talking about. But right now with the market, we were just talking about appraisals and how, if there's a gap, how they're expecting the buyers to come up with the gap right now. It's not I want to say the old days, even
Right.
like a year ago, where if it didn't, and I had many people, last year, and the houses didn't appraise, and my sellers would go down and the buyers would go up a little bit, and we would kind of go back and forth. Whereas now the sellers are kind of stubborn, and they're, I mean, have you seen anything crazy where they've paid for moving? They've paid for the sellers. They'll say, well, the buyers will want something so bad that they'll say to the seller, you don't have to, like for instance, we were talking about Lorraine, you don't have to touch one thing. We'll take the whole house, whether the furniture's old or new. We'll just take the whole house of furniture and we'll give you this much money, and they make a deal with them to,
That's
so-
nice to hear things like yes, and yes,
Yeah.
I have been saying things like that. And flexibility with the closing date,
Yeah.
because sometimes the sellers need extra time. Like somebody like Lorraine, I don't know if she did or not, but here's an elderly woman, lives by herself, has this big house of furniture.
Yeah.
She might need extra time to live there before her kids up north can come down and help her pack and move, or that kind of a thing.
Right.
So definitely flexibility with the closing date is something that I've been seeing a lot of. When you are getting a mortgage, though, you are basically saying you are taking occupancy of this house within the next 30 to 60 days. In fact, if it is an FHA loan, you sign something that says, yes, I intend to occupy this property as my primary residence within 60 days. It's in the paperwork. So the lender is giving this to you as an owner-occupied property, not as a rental property. However, because of the craziness of this market these days, we're definitely seeing people lease the property back to the
Like a
seller
post-occupancy, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
To give them a little bit more time to get out. That's something, if you want to win a bid, that's something to consider if you're
Yeah.
a buyer. Don't try and back it up to the date your lease expires. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Talk to your landlord. Can we stay an extra month? Because it
you're
just
trying to appease that seller. So
exactly
that's
so that you can win the bid.
right. Yeah. And we were just talking about, I had a seller who stayed post occupancy. She wanted to stay. And the buyers, they weren't my buyers, but they were really nice people, or they still are really nice people, and they let her stay in the house. If you do this, you want to make sure you cover both parties involved. Usually you'll hold an escrow as a deposit to make sure that nothing's damaged, that when this person who's pretty much renting the house back, when they come out of the house, that it's just how you saw it when you did the walkthrough. There's no damages, the house is clean, just the normal stuff. So usually that's held in escrow by your title company. And then after the seller moves out, then they release it to the seller. Everything's good. So basically that's how you'll do the rent back. And then you don't want to go under contract and then say, you know what, this is a negotiation. That's your strong. That's you know what I mean. That is how you're going to get this contract, is to negotiate that ahead of time. If the seller needs it to stay,
right,
that's no problem. And so they had said if she stays after, I think it was like 15 days, it was so much per day. So, but she could stay up to this point and it was free. So they really they notched all the boxes. They got the offer on that one. So it turned out good as far as they did get the property and everything. They were real happy with everything. So. But yeah, then after, though, you have to make sure everybody agrees that there's no problems with the property, and then you get your money back at that point. My seller on that property, she was in such a hurry, she didn't clean the house, so the buyers were kind of upset. So I had the house cleaned out, and it's all So it turned out to be the buyer's very happy, and they're happy with me because now I'm hanging out with them to go over there to check. Yeah, I was like, "Hi, I'm not your realtor, but I'm the selling agent, so it's on me."
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
So it turned out good, but that's a leverage. And then I've seen also, we'll pay for the seller's moving trucks.
That's nice. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah,
That's a good offer.
Yeah, and there's been a couple crazy ones, and then some of them, even though they offer these kind of off the wall things that you don't usually see, some of them didn't get the offer though because their bid wasn't high enough. Or like I had one that was cash and there was really nothing to move, so that wasn't really leveraged. But if you have a realtor, they'll say, a lot of realtors now will say, I have a special secret to getting the buyer to getting it, but I did a show on it, the whole thing through the whole contract, how to make that contract look fine-tuned.
As good as possible.
Yeah, and one of them is to waive the appraisal, contingency, because it's like getting a cash offer then, even though you have the financing. So basically waiving the appraisal contingency, what does it mean? It just means that if you're buying a house for $320 and it comes in at $300, then you're coming up with $20,000. And if you don't have $20,000, then they're pretty much keeping your deposit. You're defaulting the contract. So you have to make sure you know what you're doing and make sure you're realtor helps you with, what the lowest point of this appraisal could be, worst case scenario, just so you make sure you have enough cash,
Right.
So,
Now, I did want to say also, with the flexibility of the closing date, if the seller needs to stay longer, that's great. Don't do flexibility on the closing date earlier.
Right.
So if your realtor is telling you, 30 days, don't say, well, let's do it in 25 or let's do it in 20. If you are getting a mortgage loan, it's a timely process.
Yeah.
It is a very, we need all of those 30 days to get
That's where-
that done in
that's-
most cases. And even 30 days is tight.
right. And that's where cash is going to beat you, because cash,
Right.
they can, title work, going to take a couple weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
And,
so-
you can close with a
yeah.
cash deal. And we totally get that. And I
Yeah.
understand too. But just, what they don't understand, what a lot of times sellers don't understand, is that you're not putting any pressure on the buyer.
Right.
It's not the buyer. There's nothing that the buyer can do to make that process work any faster other than get me the documents immediately.
Yeah.
And most of the time, we are all over the customers to get us the documents right away.
Yeah, you guys are quick.
It's things like an appraisal takes 2 weeks, anywhere
Yeah.
from 7 days to 14 days. We don't know. Sometimes longer, actually.
Yeah.
We don't know. There's things that are out of our control.
yeah, the
we have to send
surveyors are delayed now too.
Surveyors.
It used to be a day you could put a rush,
The IRS, we
Yeah.
have to send to the IRS. So there's things that are totally out of our control.
Yeah.
And you're being unrealistic if you think that can happen in less than 30 days. It's
Right.
just, and the only thing you're doing is making me bite off all my fake fingernails and turn my hair gray.
You're making me do my roots twice a month.
That's right.
Yeah, I usually I had two thoughts at the same time, but I had one come in 225 cash, and then I had an FHA for 234 with no appraisal waivers or anything like that, and it was in Jasmine Lakes, and 225 is a great price, no pool, everything. So I was kind of like, and it was, had the flood zone too. So if they pay cash, they don't have to pay the flood insurance. And so it kept like pushing the FHA kind of out, because even though it was 14,000 more, I told my seller, I said, the chances of this appraising out is probably slim. It's going to probably appraise out right where this, well, probably less than this cash offer. So again, we got 225 cash, and then it closed 2 weeks. Everything was good.
Same.
Yeah. So that's the only reason we went with it. But did someone, beat the cash offer? Yeah. But sometimes it's unrealistic, especially, when you have, not to be mean to new realtors, but when you have a new realtor who doesn't understand that it's probably not going to appraise out.
And I was just going to say, that is what sets you apart.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of realtors out there that wouldn't do what you just said. They would just go with the highest offer.
Yeah.
What you did was very smart.
Yeah.
Because you're like, you need, and a lot of the realtors I work with are like that. But that right there shows a tremendous realtor, because you didn't go with the automatic
Yeah,
highest
because
one.
I think too, they add up. I mean, not that all of them do, but a lot of them go like, well, if I get this much more, I made this much more too.
Yeah,
and you can't
thinking
think
of
of yourself at all. You have, and if you do start adding up, I feel like if you add up commissions and what you're going to get paid ahead of time, then you're probably not going to do as good a job. So you need to add up for your seller, you know what I mean, their bottom
Right.
line, and look at all the risks. And when you look at the
Right.
risks compared, I told him this one is, kind of a sure thing. And once we make it through the home inspection, if the home inspection's good, then we're good. We're closing.
It's a sure thing.
Yeah. So
Right.
that's the only reason. Obviously, we went with it, and we did get the higher bids, but they just weren't as good as this cash deal, which we knew was 100%.
Cash is king when
Yeah.
it comes to buying a house. If you
Yeah.
have it, that is, and as a seller, yeah, that's the best thing, because like you said, that house might not even have appraised.
Yeah, and again, that's a street in
Even
Jasmine.
for 225,
Right.
it might not have appraised.
That one was on Cherry Laurel, and I said, like, again, when I talk about these houses now, it is to do with me, but then it's not that we're upping the
I was just
values.
going to say,
Yeah. Like, so I
that
take all
one
the
might
credit.
not have appraised,
Yeah. I
but
take
the
all the
next
credit.
one will,
Yeah.
thanks to that one.
Yeah, exactly. So like the neighbors, I'm like, where are my thank you notes from all the neighbors? I just upped all the value in the whole neighborhood.
I know.
Yeah, but really, I mean, I want to say it's me, and it is, but then it's the market. You know what I mean? So we'd be thankful to this market. And if you're thinking about selling, it is a good time to sell right now. There's limited inventory. You're going to get top dollar, but then you can't get crazy and start delegating either, because then you have, it's, kind of like the karma train comes for you,
Right.
if you get too
The karma train.
the karma train, the karma bus runs you over,
That's right.
Yeah, so you have to be, realistic and stuff. I mean, I laugh a lot and have a lot of fun with it, but when it comes to negotiation is the time where it's pen to paper and you're weighing out odds, and you have to know what you're doing at that, at that time. You really do. Even though it looks easy, these realtors who are new, when they're, so you have a cousin who got a real estate license, and you want her to sell her first house. And right now she gets in 10 offers. And does she even, because I get the calls where I help them and they're like, which one should I take? And I'm like, okay, and they just look at the prices, the highest prices. And I'll say, well, now you have to kind of organize them. And do you have your pre-approval letters? And do you have, all the stuff that you need to look
And
at?
call the loan officer
Yeah.
on that pre-approval letter.
Yeah, and then if your seller wants to get nosy and say, what do they do for a living, to kind of figure out, do they both work? Is just one, is how strong they look.
How strong is this person?
Yeah,
Right.
and that's not a crazy thing to do. But just because you have those 10 offers, and then you get 2 backups, if anything happens with this contract, these 2 backups may be under contract now, or they might have changed their minds or picked another, a place, or decided, these things change. So just because you have the 2 backups, you still need to work with that buyer, try to bend, and if you live there for 2 years, it's all tax free. So it's just a plus, and then too, make sure you have that, the escape plan of the seller, where you're going to go, because that's a lot of people, they think, well, I can
Right.
find a place in 30 days. And that's a hard thing
Yeah,
too.
good luck with that.
Yeah. I always say, do you have that aunt you can move in with? What hotel is your favorite hotel? I know, it's a shame. Yeah. Yeah. And I tell them, honestly too, I don't want to see you at a hotel with your moving van and your kids in a one room, you know what I mean? So
You
you
can't
have
go
to,
anywhere.
we have to make sure you have a plan. Cause I've had a lot of people who, I'm sending a photographer over to sell your house. Where are you guys going to go? And then they go, oh, well, don't you think we can find someone? Well, a house sale contingency is a whole nother probably show, but so we're going to sell your house, and then it's contingent, your new purchase, on you selling this house. And then sellers, if you write that in the contract and you're trying to, leverage, they're like, they have to sell this house. Psh, that one goes in the garbage,
Right.
So a lot of times right now, I just call ahead and say, will they take a house sale contingency? We have 8 offers. 1's cash, 2 are conventional with 50,000 down. No, we will not take a house, because I feel bad for the buyers. You take them out, and they're so in love with the properties,
know.
and they get their hearts broken, and it's sad,
I know.
So, that's that's the market right now,
It's something, I've been doing this for 40 years and I've never seen the market like this.
Yeah.
In 40 years. It's
What is
never
your
been like
projection?
this.
Do you have
So I think, yes, thank you for asking that. Not that anybody cares.
I
but,
want to know your projection.
I do think that the market is going to settle. I absolutely think it. And I've seen it. I don't know if you have, but all of the sudden, more of my pre-approvals that I have so many people pre-approved out there right
Yeah,
now.
they're starting to come in.
There's just no, they're
with the
starting to
loan.
come in.
Yeah.
So
with the
we're starting
contract.
to get some contracts accepted.
Yeah.
And my reason behind that, what I think is going on, is I think that we had this frenzy in the February to April time frame because of the horrific weather up north.
Yeah, true.
Like the whole country, I can remember looking at, the map of the United States on the weatherman, and the whole middle part of the country was in blue, which means ice and snow,
Yeah,
right?
we were,
so
like,
you
at
had
the
all
beach.
this
Yeah.
blue. And I had so many people calling me saying, I am done with this weather. I want to move to Florida. I want to move to Florida. Well, because the prices where they are, that's nationwide. That's a nationwide issue right now that's going on. So they're selling their homes up north for like $700,000, coming down here, with only 450,000.
Yeah.
I'll pay cash for it. So I
Right.
think that's settling down. One, because it's nicer weather now up there.
Yeah,
Two,
true.
kids are out of school.
Yeah.
So they're preoccupied
So-
with,
yeah.
school camp or vacation or whatever it is.
In summertime, we always see the slow, and and last year I think COVID was different, but all the summers have just been. I just work full time through all the summers because I'm like, oh, where am I going to go on vacation? But it's steady, 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 and it is steady. It's not like the frenzy, right
Right.
now.
Right.
But all the homes, like the last 4 I've sold, have been all out of state buyers. Every single one of them.
See,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
are they from? I'm curious. Where are they coming
New Jersey. The ones, they were from Miami, but they weren't originally from Miami. They had gone and moved from, I think, Ohio to Miami, and Miami to here. And then the other ones were, what were they? They were Chicago. Yeah. So,
I've had Colorado lately, California, and New York.
Oh, okay.
That's where I've had a lot of
Yeah.
out of state buyers right now.
yeah. So, and you can see when you're driving down US 19 or Suncoast Parkway, the out of state tags, you can kind of see and it's always, New York's always popular, you
Right,
know?
great.
Yeah. So it's like one of those, as far as, I don't know why, but a lot of people from New York love Spring Hill. So when they come,
I know.
had New Jersey or New York, and I say, you want to see this area? And they go, we want to see this area. And I go, you want to look at Spring Hill? Oh, we love the Spring Hill. Yeah. So I saw a
They
lot.
call it like Little New York.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. So they're like, oh my gosh, I think I know them from some, you know what I mean? But it's crazy. It's crazy times. But thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
And
Thanks for having
want to
me.
thank you because you're our sponsor here, and we couldn't do it without you. So we appreciate you. And there's if anyone needs a mortgage, needs to get pre-qualified, Dylan can help you out. She's with the mortgage firm, and I just had an appraisal by you guys, and it turned out fantastic. We actually have equity, and that never happens. So
Right.
I don't-
It actually came in higher.
yeah, like $20,000. I was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
so that was awesome.
That never happens in 2021, So yeah, so thanks so much for joining us. You guys have a great day, and hold on because SPCA will be here in a sec. Hi, welcome back. I'm Jessie Welters from Charles Rutenberg. I'm here today with Diane Oberlander, Amber Allen from SPCA Suncoast, and of course our special guest star, Miss Lola. So thanks for bringing her in. She's a beauty.
Isn't she?
Yeah, she's really pretty. So tell me about Lola. How do you know anything about her? Her story? Like how cute
Yeah,
she looks.
I know. She's 4.5 years old. She
Okay.
came to us as an owner surrender. She was
Aw.
taken from her babies.
Aw.
And there was other dogs in the house too, but she was brought in.
So that they just didn't have room for her, or they were just needed the babies, or was
Not
sad?
really,
Aw.
not really sure, but all we knew is we wanted to take her because
Yeah.
if you don't want her, we do.
Yeah, she's
Because we're
so
gonna find
cute.
her.
Look at
like,
that.
look at her face.
Yeah,
How can
she's
you not
so
love that?
sweet.
And she does. She has a little stub tail that. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, she's so
When
cute.
she's
her little
happy.
Yeah.
So we do know her babies were done. You know what I mean? She was
Oh,
done
they're
with it, but
weaned?
still,
Yeah.
that was hard for her.
Yeah.
I think it happened very recently. So when she came to us,
Probably more nervous.
oh
and-
my god!
Yeah.
And you could tell she was looking for them. It was-
Aw, that's so
we're
sad.
just glad we have her.
And you said she's about 4 years old?
Yeah, 4.5 years old. She's
Okay.
like some sort of lab mix, obviously,
Yeah.
with the tail. I don't know if that was a crop job or if it's the way she was born. I don't know,
Yeah.
but it's cute.
Yeah, it's
Whatever
really cute.
it is, it's
Your little
really cute.
stubby tail.
Yeah.
Aw.
She likes to do the frog dog thing, as you can
Yeah,
as you
she
saw
likes-
earlier.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she was, when she first came in, she was nervous, but she's down, like laying down now.
Yeah,
and
which is an
calm,
improvement.
Pretty.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, look at her now. She's like, oh, I'm getting real
She's like,
comfortable.
okay, here we go. We got the frog dog going on, so that's great.
Yeah, she's so pretty. Yeah, so tell us how you guys are doing over there. You have right now, a lot of surrenders, right?
Oh
a
my
lot
gosh,
of
that's all
kittens.
we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
We're not pulling from anywhere because there are so many surrenders out there, cats
Yeah.
and dogs. We can't even keep up. We're literally filling out forms, keeping a folder, and as we get animals out, we're trying to get animals in.
Yeah,
from these
so
people.
I look at the, Facebook where people are, I can't keep my dog, can't
Yep.
keep my dog, or all the shelters are full. I can't take them anywhere. I mean, it's not a good situation right
No,
now.
it's horrible.
So do you think that people with COVID, that they just got a dog and they couldn't take it? Or do you think that
Nobody's actually coming out and saying that.
what is the deal?
Or that it had anything to do with COVID. I sure find the timing interesting.
Yeah.
Though, you know what I mean? And
It's
all
almost
this happening.
like back to work, so I got to give my dog up,
Yeah. Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, they can't take their dogs if they're downsizing into apartments. And I understand, but I don't think that it would be this many animals. I mean, because like you were saying, all the shelters are full, not just
Right.
you guys.
No,
all
yeah,
of
it's
them
everybody.
are full. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you go to animal control, you can pretty much pick, and in your place too, probably what type of dog you want now, because they're turning in everything. I
Oh,
seen
yes.
2 Great Danes yesterday.
Saw
Did
that.
you see them?
Well, guess what? You're going to see 2 pure labs
Yeah.
later this week
Oh,
in our
wow.
place that we're taking in. So
Yeah, they're beautiful
I mean,
animals.
English
I don't know.
labs.
Yeah, yeah. You're like, why? Yeah, these are dogs that are like $500.
People, people paid a lot of money for
Yeah,
them. And
the
here,
same with the Great
Great
Danes.
Danes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, they were saying, well, you know how much it costs to feed these 2 Great Danes, but like when you go to get one dog, but when you get 2 brothers, 2
gotta
brothers,
plan on that.
yeah, that's a lot. I mean, the dogs weigh one weighs I think 120 or 130.
Oof.
Yeah, and they gave them up and stuff. It's so disheartening, because I mean, my dog has some issues, and I still, I mean, I would
Yes,
never
you're
give them
working
up.
through it,
Yeah,
yeah.
you have to. They're part of
it's
the family,
like, right. When you
Yeah.
give up your kid, if there was something, you just kind of
Yeah.
see it through.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Yeah, and so I feel like usually, in the spring you have lots of kittens. Where it seemed like the spring, I was saying this last time, but it was like a month later. So now there's
Yes.
loads of kittens
Oh my
this
gosh.
month, which is usually last month and the month before. You know,
100%. We are experiencing. I mean, pages and pages of voicemails with people,
Yeah.
and it's just not. I have a kitten or I have a cat. It's I have a mama cat and her 8 kittens.
Yeah.
And we are full to the gills with
Yeah.
cats.
I know that there's some kitten or cat rescues, and they have foster homes and stuff like that, and that helps. But you guys probably are in need of fosters, right? Fosters
Yes.
or volunteers.
We're trying to build
Yeah.
a foster program. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Because that would be good if you're at home still. I mean, even if you're working from home and you want to help out, the
Yes.
community and stuff. And then you guys can adopt them out after they get like
Fixed and everything.
named
Yeah,
and-
when they're all up to date on everything. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we
Yeah,
do have
weaned.
we have kittens, but they're just not ready yet.
Yeah.
And we have cats as well. Yeah, we have a lot of everything.
Yeah. So you're totally full. How many do you have right now? How many? Because it's not
Cats
a
and
huge.
kittens? Do you even
Put you on the spot.
20, 25 maybe?
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, there's quite a few. Every room, we have rooms for all of them. And,
Mm-hmm.
obviously you put multiple cats in rooms. Every room is full.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so-
Oh wow.
Yeah, so but it's just disappointing. Like every phone call, it's like, I want to surrender my cat or I want to.
Yeah, it's so sad.
It is.
Yeah.
It's bumming me
And we
out.
haven't even got to hurricane season.
No,
where,
I know,
Where
right?
it happens by accident,
Yep.
So,
Yep.
goodness gracious. Yeah, it's
Look
so
at her
sad.
now.
Yeah, now she's just posing
She's
it
like,
up.
okay, I'm getting this. I'm getting it. That's
You're a good girl. Yeah.
Yes, you are.
She's like, me?
You're being a good girl. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Oh,
Oh, goodness
that was
gracious.
a good one.
She's like, I love you. I just want you to know.
Yeah, a big kiss in your
Yeah,
mouth.
so Lola is available for adoption.
Yes.
How much
she's
is
not
she?
actually available yet, just so you know. She
Okay.
was the one I could bring in today.
Oh,
she's
okay.
not available yet. She needs to be spayed, so we have no more babies.
Oh, right. Okay.
And get current on her shots, but that's going to be happening soon. So
Okay.
I'll be sure to post her as soon as she is available. But she's going to be, to me, she's going to be an easy dog. Like,
Yeah.
So if someone's just looking to have a dog that wants to snuggle with you a lot, hang
yeah,
out
she
with
does
you,
want to snuggle. She's
yeah,
like,
that's what she's going to want to do. Yeah.
she's like, you said my name and it inspired me to get up on the Yeah.
Right. So yeah,
She's so
she's
cute.
definitely, she just
So-
likes her people.
Is she $100 adoption? How much is she?
No, because she's
'Cause
4.5,
it's-
she would be 250.
Oh, 250. Okay.
200
Oh, yeah, and she's
for
getting
seniors.
spayed and she's
right. She'll
okay.
be all done. Yeah.
Yeah,
she's
that's
not going
good.
until she's all done. She doesn't need to have any more babies.
Yeah, poor thing, poor
Yeah.
girl.
No, you don't. You're your
Yeah.
baby yourself.
Look, I've seen this. You want to hold this? She's like, I'm still not into this little squirrel
But she's
thing.
like, but I'm getting better here in
Yeah,
front of you.
she's
which
starting to
is
relax.
good to see. You know, she'll
is that?
come around.
maybe.
Oh.
Yeah, she's giving it kisses.
Oh yeah, she's rubbing her face on it too. She's
I'll put it right
feeling
here
better.
so I can
You can
stare at you,
steal it if
whatever
you
it is.
want it.
It's like a rat fox thing. Yeah, it's nice. So how much are the kitten adoptions?
Kittens are 125.
Okay, that's why I got it confused. Okay, 125.
Yeah, regular
So-
cats are 100.
Okay, so the Suncoast SPCA, and we're going to put up your stuff too, like how to contact you and stuff like that. And then if you have right now, if you can hold on to your animals, it's probably the best time,
Yes, and also, if you do need to surrender,
Yeah.
we actually need them to be vetted.
Oh, okay. Ahead of-
So, yeah, vet them ahead of time. That way we can take them in right away. Otherwise, I mean, we can't put them in with our population when they're not.
Yeah.
We've taken in, recently, we just took in 2 dogs that will be going through heartworm treatment.
Aw,
Because they were
that's a
heartworm
shame.
positive.
Yeah.
So we're trying to do it, have people go out, and we'll give you discounted vets in
Yeah,
the
to have
area,
it done.
so.
Yeah.
But, and then we will charge a surrender fee too. It could be anywhere from $25 to $50.
Okay. That's still, I mean, if you want your dog to go to a good home and stuff, it's the best thing to do.
Yeah.
It's the best advice to have them up on shots and stuff. And
Yeah,
it's
for their
just-
safety.
yeah, and they have those clinics too. They're not that
Yes.
expensive,
Yes.
I think there's one at Winn-Dixie on Midlake Road and 52. I saw the signs for the, the mobile
Yes,
clinics.
right,
And
that's
they're
coming
they're
around.
really reasonable,
Yes. I think people really need to look into that.
Yeah, yeah, and then when they drop them, not drop them off, but when they surrender, then they don't have to worry. I know the one that there was they had a lady who had, I don't know if it was you guys or Humane Society, but she had surrendered, and then she was seeing her dog online, and she was like correcting she was so attached to this dog, and I was like, I don't know why she didn't keep it, because she was there. Making
Yeah,
sure the
right.
description was right and
Yeah.
you know what I mean, the weight was right and everything. I was like, it's so sad. I mean, if there's any way to keep your animals, I mean, some places will work with you, and just because you're back to work, there's doggy daycares, there's people that pretty
Right.
reasonably will walk your dogs for you. There's a way
Yes.
to make it work if you can
I feel
afford
so
it.
too. I feel like too, if you reached out to your local shelter or rescue them and like, hey, I need food.
Yeah.
If that's the reason you would even consider giving up your animals because you can't feed them or whatever, reach out. Try.
Yeah,
We'd
try.
rather you keep your dogs.
Yeah.
Than us take them.
Right.
We're gonna find a good home for them, but we would much rather see them there.
Yeah, there's too many right now I mean, you're obviously going to make sure they get, you're going to go through the whole thing of making sure
Yep.
they have a good home, making sure that they're vetted, making
Yep.
sure they're up to date on shots. But if you can afford to keep them, just like you said, if it's just
Simple
dog
thing,
food.
reach
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
There might be a quick solution that actually enables you to keep your animal.
Yeah, I wonder if I've seen people say, well, my dog passed away. I have this extra dog food. If anybody wants,
Yep,
stuff
they
like
bring
that.
that.
Yeah, or if your dog has allergic reaction,
Yep.
post it on the lost and found pages because people will put their dogs
Yes.
for, just to
Yes.
to take them,
Right.
Like a small adoption fee, $25 to make sure my dog goes to a good family. But then instead, that time it took you, does anybody have dog food? I'm having a rough time,
Right.
or,
And
a
we've
lot of,
helped before with that,
Yeah.
those sort of situations.
that's nice.
The other thing, if I could chime in on the heartworm,
Mm-hmm.
people, it seems in Florida, people avoid giving the monthly heartworm preventative. We're noticing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it can be expensive all at once when you buy 6 months, but I've talked to several vets. You can buy them a pill at a time.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
So, I mean, buy the pill at a time if that's just $1,000 for a medium to large dog to go through
Heartworm treatment. Yeah.
So, or the
Mosquitoes.
pill.
Yeah.
And it's hard on them.
Yeah. No, it ages them. Yeah.
Like-
they come back all gray hair and,
We just had Bandit in for his first treatment, and he was crying.
aw.
Like I had the dog that could hop in my car no problem. needed me to help him, which of course no
Aw.
problem. But man,
Yeah.
to see this
Yeah, I know. That's
for a
disheartening.
pill,
Yeah.
one dose,
Yeah,
you know, every
exactly.
month. That's
Yeah, and I
silly.
think people aren't educated, you know, like as far as they get an animal and they're like, oh, it's a puppy and it's going to be so much fun. It had its shots. And then they're like, what do you mean there's another set of shots it needs?
Yeah.
And then what do you mean it's
What do you mean I have to do animal vaccines?
Yeah,
What?
every year. And then what do you mean? Like the kennel cough? What's that?
Well,
And
yeah.
so, but you know, just because you're new at it doesn't mean you can't learn.
Exactly,
You know?
exactly.
So, but if you're going to have your dog around other dogs, and that's why you're saying they have to be vetted or up to date on shots and everything, is because you can't go throw this one dog into the population and it has kennel cough or it
Mm-hmm. Right,
has something,
right,
and then
right.
then you have puppies and they're getting sick. So then it turns into this huge, you know.
Yeah, then you're like what, shutting down because,
Yeah.
because you have illness.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So yeah, we're trying to be
Yeah.
careful and dot all our I's too. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, and a lot of people too. Well, they'll walk their dogs around the block and they'll say, "Well, I don't need that. My dog doesn't go anywhere." And then you know they see another dog, and then they you know they're kissing. The dogs are kissing on each other,
Yes.
and that's all it takes right there. Or you have a fence and there's a dog on the other side of the fence. You know, that's all
Okay,
it takes.
we heard a funny one.
Okay, let me tell.
We heard it's about the heartworm pill.
Okay.
We brisk walk.
Yeah.
So we're avoiding
Yeah,
the
brisk walk,
mosquitoes.
yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we brisk walk. Yeah. The
Mm-hmm. I'm
dog
sure
drags me. No mosquitoes get on this dog
right.
at all.
You run so fast that they can't catch up.
Yeah, everybody else in Florida, but except for my dog.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the same with the ticks and stuff too, you know. But if you do get the, even if you, like you were saying, if you get the once a month the pill, it'll keep the ticks off and the fleas off, and then it's not a you know, because a lot of times dogs will have flea allergies and they
Oh
lose
my
their
gosh. yes.
hair.
And people, okay, so fleas are bad here in Florida.
Right.
If you came here from somewhere else, Florida is going to be probably worse than your state.
Right. Yeah. Heads up. Yeah.
So yeah,
Get your-
exactly.
you're
So
so
you
crazy,
definitely want to
girl.
have a monthly treatment. You definitely need to give them a heart guard, especially here because there's
Yeah.
mosquitoes. There is no frost pretty much here, right?
Yeah,
So
true.
unless you get a frost, you have mosquitoes all
Yeah,
year round.
true.
So and I had someone go, "Oh, my dog is out," and I was standing letting my dogs out. I look out the screen door; they're outside. I watch them, and I'm looking at this little mosquito, and it was
yeah,
like
it's on
April.
the screen. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, and it was the next day that someone's like, "Oh, I haven't seen any mosquitoes." I'm like, "Funny you say that."
I have one on video.
They're there.
Yeah. Just happen to have this
Yeah,
one.
exactly.
Yeah.
So don't take the chance with your animals. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
So, and another thing too with Florida, we have freestanding water.
Yes.
You know, where mosquito havens are
Yes.
born, and
Don't let
people
them
say,
drink those.
yeah, and or your garbage can lid falls over, it gets full of water.
Collecting.
Yeah, and that's where mosquitoes are the
Yeah, they're
you know
gonna-
the breeding ground,
Yep, exactly.
and you don't even realize it. You know.
Yes.
So, yeah.
There's
So,
a lot of lessons
welcome
here
to
in
Florida.
Yeah, for sure. for
Alligator
sure.
on your front yard,
Yeah,
mosquitoes
exactly.
on your side yard.
Walk your alligator with your dog.
Yeah. Yeah. Be careful. Yeah. That's a whole nother show. Alligators and dogs.
And real estate.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Yeah. You know what though? Funny story. I had this one lady. She had a little teeny dog with her. So we were showing houses and we were on Land O'Lakes. And so hence the lakes, Land O'Lakes.
Yes, many.
and so we go in the backyard and there's a small little, I would say more like a pond, but it was like
Retention pond kind of
yeah,
thing?
yeah.
Yeah.
So she was calling it, oh, it's a lakefront. We go in the back, the seller's in the house, and they said, you guys can go in the back. And she has this little, like I said, little poofy, like Pomeranian.
Yeah.
So she's got it in her arms, and there's an alligator like laying, it's far, but it's in the yard that I'm showing, and it's like laying there. And she's from New York, and she was, and I can't say exactly what she said, but it was something like, "Oh heck no!" And then she had her little dog, which she thought was gonna. I think they visualized the alligator just running 100
Running
miles an
at
hour,
him.
which it does happen sometimes, but
Yeah,
it doesn't
not
really happen.
usually.
Yeah, it usually is like a slow, like the alligator looks around
Yeah.
at you, and you're like,
Right.
"Oh, I think I better go." So there was none of that, and they were only like this big too, which it still can.
Okay,
It'll
right.
leave a
It
mark.
can hurt, right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So she took off running in the house, and then of course I, as a realtor, had to say, "So what did you guys think of this house?" And she was like, "Oh, again, oh
Yeah,
heck
you
no."
knew.
Yeah.
You
Oh
knew
heck
that's gonna
no.
be a big no.
Yeah. And she's like, and I have kids too, and I was scared of my dog out here with these, But I think as we don't step over them as being Floridians, but we kind of like get used to
You respect
mosquitoes,
them.
ticks, alligators, not so
These
much
are things
crocodiles.
we have.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
sharks.
we need to live around snakes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Snakes. Yeah, and you're a redneck or you're a Floridian when there's a snake on top of the water. Oh, it's on top of the water? Oh, that's okay. It's or, you know what I
Right.
mean?
It's not venomous.
Yeah. Oh, there's a snake in the water. Get out of the water.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, or vice
Venomous.
versa, whatever it is.
whatever
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, like water snake, you're fine. You can
Yeah.
swim next to the water
Black
snake.
racer. Oh, it's black. Don't
Yeah.
worry, it's a
Was it a
black
little
racer.
teeny head? Oh, just step
yeah.
over it. That's his name's Fred. He lives in the back
Right?
of the shed.
He's a neighbor's.
Yeah, I know. Her tail. We have a squirrel next door. I call him Stubby, and he has no tail. So I was going to say she looks like Stubby, my squirrel, but I don't own the squirrel.
Right, he's
but
your neighborhood squirrel.
Yeah, he runs on, and
it.
we're like Stubby, But you could change your name from
Right.
Lola. Lola Stubby could be her middle
Stubbs.
name.
We could be
Yeah.
Lola Stubbs. What
Yeah.
do you think? She's like, call me anything.
Yeah.
Just love me.
So if anyone's interested in adopting, I bet you she would love the water too. She just has that lab look,
Right.
where
I
she
think
would like
so,
to
too.
play and stuff. She's like, oh, she's so cute.
And she is super playful. She does like toys.
Yeah.
Obviously, in the
She's a
environment
little
today.
nervous in here, yeah.
But she's a fun
Yeah.
girl.
She's
she
beautiful.
was awesome in the car.
Yeah, she's
You
a beautiful
were.
girl.
And so-
she's just given her last minute to fame here. She's like,
Yeah,
I
get
just
her
want
up
to say,
there, get her
yeah,
beautiful face in there.
yeah, she's so
pretty
cute.
girl.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and we're
Thank
going to
you.
see if we can get Lola adopted out and
right.
after she gets spayed and stuff. But
Yep.
thanks you guys for joining us, and we'll see you again next week. And special thanks to our sponsors. We have Barry Knight Title and also Dylan at the mortgage firm. You guys have a great day.